Hey guys, we want to finish up our Chinese spear set today. Again, I apologize for using this spear. This is not a traditional Chinese spear. It's just one I made. It's made of real steel. It's a very thick, kind of heavy oak pole. It has a weight at the end. It's more set up for doing the Japanese spear set, but I just didn't have the Chinese spear with me at home. So traditionally, this would be a smaller spearhead. This would be Chinese waxwood, much lighter. There'd be a couple of ball bearings in here to make noise. Be a big red tassel right here. And there would not be a weight at the end. It would just go from being thin to being a little bit thicker at the end. So this is about the last 20% of the form. Last time we were backing up, we were doing our spins, then we came into a crane. The next part's pretty easy. All we're gonna do is a big stab toward the person with the three sectional. And they're going to knock the weapon off to the side. Then they're going to swing at our head. We're going to lean back to a neutral bow, protect ourselves, and then we're going to stab at them again, and they're going to once again parry our weapon off to the side. And after that, we're going to do a backward gazelle hop. We're going to fly through the air backwards. We're going to come down and hit them in the head with the spearhead, and that's when the three sectional person steps back and they block above their head. So we're really near the end. Let me just show you guys how that works. I'm going to start where we left off, where we were in a left crane, and then I'm just going to do a big extended stab, and then a neutral bow, and then a second extended stab done in the same manner. And then I'll lock down into a deep horse, and then I'll do a backward gazelle hop and hit the guy in the head. So that's the next piece of the form. And remember, we had backed up, and now we're going to be coming toward the camera, towards you guys. So from here, I was in the left crane, then I'm going to strike out with an extended stab, then I'm going to go back to a neutral bow and bring the weapon up to block my head, and then I'll go into another stab, extending out, full extension. I'll go to a horse, and I'll lock the weapon down. When I lock it down, this one will be right hand on my hip, left hand about shoulder height, kind of our normal position. We're just going to tense up for a second at that point. So when we were in the crane, we did a big extended stab, then a neutral bow, we withdrew, and then another extended stab. And then from there, a horse stance, we locked down. Try to give you a sideways view of this. So we were in the crane, went out, back, then out, and lock down. And the reverse gazelle hop, we're just going to go from the horse stance, we're going to turn, returning to our right. We're going to drive up our right knee, then our left knee, and then we're going to land. So the idea of the gazelle hop is to hop up, and then we come down with a lot of force with the weapon, but also our body weight. So jumping up allows us to gain distance, but also to gain energy as we come down. So that's the next parts. From the crane, we're gonna go way out, way back, way out again. We're gonna lock down into a horse, and we'll do turn to our right, backwards gazelle hop, and we'll lock down, hitting our opponent in the head. That'll be that segment. Let me back up and try that. So we were spinning backwards. We did crane, out, back, out, lock down. Then we do the jump. The weapon's gonna travel alongside our body. Jump, come down, hit. And then from here, we're gonna just simply stab low, stab high. We're going to shuffle in on that low stab though. So we shuffle in, stab low, stab high, then we repeat it, stab low, stab high. So we did our spins backwards, came to the end of that travel. Now we're coming toward the camera. We stabbed, we did neutral bow, stab, lock down, reverse gazelle hop. We landed, we hit the guy in the head, and then from there, from the horse, we shuffled in low, high, then low, high. Then we're going to move back to a left cat. We're going to do two defensive maneuvers. We're going to do a left cat and an outward block, and we jump back to a right cat, moving further back, and we're going to do an upward block. So we move back to a left cat, outward block, then a right cat, upward block. Blocking the 3 sectional here, and then he hits us over the head, blocking again, and then we're going to step back with our right foot away from him, away from the camera, to a neutral bow. We're going to take the spearhead and we're going to sweep through the legs. So we're stepping back with our right foot away from him, avoiding a shot to our head, and doing our own sweeping attack, cutting through. We'll end up stopping the weapon at the end of that travel directly to our right. So that's enough to create that cut. We don't want to go further than that. From that neutral bow position, you're then going to cut across the throat. So you went low to the legs and then to the throat. As you do the throat, you're going to raise up into a left crane. So you were neutral bow, cut, and then you're going to cut to the leg, left crane, cut to the throat. Now from the crane, you're going to jump into a right cat. As you do the cat, you're going to cut with the weapon down low to the leg. And your right hand will come up to protect your head. So you're cutting down to the leg, and then you're going to cut to the neck. Cutting to the leg, cut to the neck. And one of our students yesterday asked me, well, when you're doing these different cuts, are you trying to orient the blade of the weapon? It's a 2-sided blade, like a stiletto, sharp on both sides. Are you trying to match the blade's attitude or angle with the line of force? So if I'm coming across horizontally, should the blade be like this, which would slap the guy, or should it be turned in order to cut? And you should eventually orient the blade to match the line of force. So if you're horizontal, the blade will be flat. Just like if you were to chop somebody, you wouldn't want to slap them, you'd use the blade, right? Came down vertically, same thing. But I wouldn't worry about that when you're learning the form. I would just try to get the pattern, really get it down where you know it, it's part of you. And then if you get to that point before your test, you could add in those fine point details where you're trying to match the attitude of the blade with how the blade is moving. So that was a good question, but probably not something we have to worry about yet. So to review this segment, again, we backed up, did a lot of spinning, we did a crane, and then from the crane we did a big extended strike, then we did a neutral bow, then another extended strike, then a left crane, and we're gonna do our crane. And from the crane we go way out, way back, way out, and then we lock down horse. We do the reverse gazelle hop, turn into our right, we land, we hit the guy in the head, and we do stab low, stab high 2 times in a row. On the low stab, you shuffle in low, high, Then he comes at you, you're gonna move away from the camera, you're gonna do a left cat, then you're gonna do an outward block, then a right cat, an upward block, then you're gonna step back, neutral bow with your right foot, cut through the legs, then do a left crane, cut through the throat, then a right cat, cut low, cut high, and then you're gonna grab to the middle of the weapon, and you're gonna start your spins, but this time you're coming toward the camera. You're coming this way. And like we talked about before, you just fill the void. You fill the area that you're allowed. You know, if you're on stage or on a mat, basically toward the end of that wall where you're running on a mat, running on a stage, you're in a big field, you just empty the whole width of the field. When you finally get to the end, you come into a left crane. Remember before we were backing up, we ended up in a left crane. And at the end of that motion, we're going to lift left crane, and our left hand will end up, remember how we're pointing our finger, kind of upside down toward the sky. Right hand's back here to our crane. Now, you're probably 5 steps away from the end. You're almost done. Next thing you're gonna do from that crane is you're gonna step in stab low, and stab high at the 3 sectional. And the 3 sectional person's gonna block down and then block up, and then they're gonna hop over your next attack. So from your crane, you're in a left crane, you're going to go stab low, stab high, and then you're gonna bring your right foot to your left foot. Your weapon's gonna go to the right side of your body. So you're gonna go low, high, feet together, and then your left foot's gonna shoot out to the side to a neutral bow. You're gonna take your weapon and you're going to sweep underneath your opponent. You're gonna sweep his legs. You're gonna end up in a neutral bow. So you went from the crane, you went stab low, stab high, and then after you did the stab high, you went feet together, you brought your right foot to your left foot goes off to the side, and you sweep. Once you do the sweep, your right hand travels up to the mid part of the weapon, left hand lets go, and you cross step with your right foot going out that way. It's right near the end of the form. And as you go out that way, you're going to let the weapon swing, let the blade swing toward the throat, and it's gonna lock behind your back. So it's moving, it locks behind your back. You don't need 2 hands, just 1 hand, but when it hits your back, that locks the blade in place. So I'm cross-stepping away from my opponent, and I get here. Okay? So we're reviewing, we're spinning backwards toward the wall. We do a left crane. The new parts today, then we lean in with a big extended stab. We fade back neutral bow, block up, another big extended stab. We lock down and we turn to our right. We jump off of our left foot, drive our knees up, land, come down with the spearhead hitting in the head. And we're gonna shuffle in, do 2 times. We're gonna go low, high, low, high. And after the second one, we come back to a cat outward block. We jump back to another cat. This would be a right cat upward block, step back with the right foot, and then take the blade, slice through the leg, and then from there come into a left crane, cut high, jump into a right cat. From the cat, go low, high, spin, coming at the camera until you are about to hit the camera. Then come into a left crane. At the end of that left crane, stab low, stab high, feet together. So the right foot came up to the left foot shoots off to the side, and then sweep. And then slide your hand up, cross step that way, and cut. After you cut, just let your left hand grab palm up. So you did your Chinese guard, cut, grab palm up, and then take your blade and have your blade go up over your head, around, and then cut the neck. So I was in the cross step. Let me move back a little bit. I was in the cross step. Now I grab palm up, I go over my head, and then right about here, my left foot steps out into a horse, and I cut the neck. So this is pretty high up, about throat level. So I was behind my back with a cross step. Then I grabbed palm up, I spun it, and then about right here, I step away to a horse, cut the neck. Now I'm gonna do a cat stance with my right foot. I'm gonna do a downward block using the center part of the weapon to block a shot to the groin. So I'm doing the cat stance, I'm blocking down. After I block down, I'm gonna step into a neutral bow, and I'll sweep the weapon through his legs. So I did the cat stance, I step in, sweep through the legs, then let it go behind me, up over my head, and now I lean back neutral bow, and I lock into position. My left hand is right on my hip bone, and my right hand is about shoulder height, and I want to tense up at the end, right? I want to be intense, I want to lock in. And with a Chinese waxwood spear, since they're flexible, that spear will rattle, it'll move around, you'll hear those ball bearings rattling. That's cool. So that's the end of the form. And then we hold that posture for probably about 4 to 5 seconds. So the guy in the 3 sectional, he's holding there too. He's in the neutral bow looking at you. You guys are squared off. And then once that's done, you count to about 4 or 5, you go feet together. And then we bow to our opponent at the end. But we're bowing in a more conventional manner. We're bowing to show respect. We don't have to look at him because we're not fighting anymore. We're showing honor to him being a fellow martial artist and somebody who allowed us to practice with him. It's a really cool form because you can, with this weapon set, hit hard. You can have real good martial spirit, and you can make it effective because it's reasonably safe. You know what's coming at you. Your sectional person knows what's coming at them, and you can gradually, over time, build more and more speed, more and more power without it being dangerous. And it's a lot of fun because you get this feeling of real combat. It heightens your reaction speed, and it's a really dynamic and important part of your black belt test. It comes about on page 4. You just finished cut exercise and you go right into this, so it's a good challenge for you. And I hope this series has been helpful to you. The next video that we'll have will be showing some of the parts of the 3 sectional form, and it'll be done in the same manner where we just take a section, work on it, and we go to the next section. So thanks so much for watching. Best of luck to you in learning this and performing it really well in your black belt test. Thanks again.